President Donald Trump makes history as he meets North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at their June 12th summit, stating North Korea will move forward with denuclearization. U.S. consumer prices climbed in May, a further sign price pressures in the economy are solidifying and that the labor market is tightening. Small caps continue to strengthen on the relative rotation graph, pulling the NASDAQ and S&P with them. Do you know what's in your portfolio? If you don't, you should. If you want to know, we can help. Here's what's moving the markets and your money. I'm Charles Brown. It's Wednesday, June 13th, and this is CB3 on 3.
At CB3 Financial Group, we don't just manage your assets, we become one of them.
In political influences, at an unprecedented summit in Singapore, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un displayed friendliness and signed a document the U.S. president called very comprehensive. While the talks offered few specifics on plans to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula, the meetings kick-started a new phase of personal diplomacy aimed at pushing the North Korean leader towards a rapid and verifiable disarmament. Quoting, "This is a much different time, and this is a much different president," Donald Trump said of Kim. Here's my take on the political implications for our investments. In my lifetime of 63 years, this is the first time leaders from the U.S. and NOCO have ever met. More significantly, President Trump is taking the leadership role in moving the Koreans in the direction of both denuclearization and unification. A more peaceful and safer world is an obvious benefit to us all as inhabitants of this planet and as investors. But here's what I'm also watching. Imagine the economic opportunities for U.S. companies to expand commerce into a united Korean peninsula. It's a little early to count on that, but we will closely be watching this one for years ahead. In fundamental influences, U.S. consumer prices last month notched the heaviest annual growth since the beginning of 2012, a further sign price pressures in the economy are solidifying. The Consumer Price Index, or CPI, which gauges what Americans pay for goods like lettuce and toys and services like haircuts, rose a seasonally adjusted 0.2% in May from the prior month. Here's my take on the fundamental implications for our investments. Inflation risk, also called purchasing power risk, is the chance that cash flows from an investment won't be worth as much in the future because of changes in purchasing power due to inflation. Inflation is an expected and necessary impact in an economic expansion. And it's important to note that inflation risk isn't the risk that there will be inflation, it's the risk that inflation will be higher than expected. This is one reason investors and analysts extensively speculate about inflation rates and study indicators such as the yield curve to get a feel for where inflation rates are headed. Please check out our recent webinar, which contains an explanation on the yield curve as we use it for monitoring inflation risk for your investments. In technical influences, look at the small cap asset class, whose strength we've been reporting on for the last several months. Small caps are now pushing even further into the leading quadrant, pulling the S&P 500 and NASDAQ with it. What is concerning me a little, however, is that within the S&P 500, only the energy sector is currently in the leading quadrant. In fact, more than half of all the 11 sectors are in the lagging quadrant. For this bull market to continue with vigor, we need to see a more balanced sector participation in the S&P 500. As you would expect, we'll be watching this development for our clients as 2018 progresses. And that's CB3 on 3 for Wednesday, June 13th. We hope you'll check out our latest webinar, Investing in Today's Crazy Markets. What's in your portfolio? If you don't know, you should. If you want to know, we can help. I'm Charles Brown, and at CB3 Financial Group, we don't just manage your assets, we become one of them.